All right, so I was bumped by breaking news. It happens. It's the news. It happens all the time. It happens to live TV. Even though John Kirby was talking about what we were shooting down, and he lost, to me, any ounce of integrity he had left. But that's not the conversation. I still wanted to tell you, in case you didn't know, why the Black National Anthem being played at the Super Bowl was just kind of silly, right? I would say it's silly. First of all, there's no such thing as a Black National Anthem. I know people call it the Black National Anthem, but a national anthem basically celebrates a nation. And unless America is now Wakanda, we don't have a Black National Anthem. It's like not a thing, okay? So beyond that, did you ever ask yourself, why is it that civil rights leaders, whether it was John Lewis, whether it was Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, or is Al Sharpton a civil rights leader? But what I will say is you have to wonder why no one has fought for the Black National Anthem be played at the Super Bowl or any other event in history, right? It just started happening around 2020. Well, I'll tell you why. If you remember the case that went before the Supreme Court back in the 1800s, it was Plessy versus Ferguson. Now, Plessy was a gentleman that decided that he did not want to sit in a rail car based on the color of his skin. So he had to go through before the Supreme Court, the Supreme Court decided, you know what, we're going to put this doctrine in place, equal but separate. And that is what black people had to do back then in the 1800s. Well, you fast forward to 1954, Brown versus the Board of Education. Well, that's when equal but separate was overturned. And that is when kids were no longer separated in schools by the color of their skin. Yes. And so Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., remember that happened in 1954, all those civil rights leaders, that's kind of what kicked the whole thing off. Right? They're like, okay, well, the Supreme Court is now saying we don't have to be equal but separate. The Supreme Court is saying we can be equal together. And so when you now fast forward to 2023 and they're talking about the Black National Anthem, basically what they're advocating for is equal but separate. They want to take us back to the 1800s. It's silly. It's crazy. It's wild. And so even though Congresswoman Lauren Boebert and all those other people did not stand for the Black National Anthem, don't get upset about that. Because the fact that they even played it is ridiculous. And the NFL should be embarrassed. I know they're not. Now on to real business. You know I can't cook. I ate pretty much this whole bag of goldfish today. And this has been my lunch/snack. And you could always follow me for more recipes.